How much pain are you allowed to inflict? Allowed? This is an interesting word. Hello, I'm EVA OH. I'm a dominatrix, and today I'm here to answer questions from the honesty box. What is a dominatrix? A professional dominatrix is somebody who is hired to carry out a fantasy for a specific period of time, often to do with sexual fetish and power dynamics.
Could you explain what a submissive is, please?
Oh, a submissive in BDSM is somebody who prefers to sit on the power dynamic divide of perhaps following an instruction, looking towards a leader, being submissive to the moment, to the power dynamics between us. Who's picking them up later?
That's me. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
What drew you to this career path? A desire to leave corporate slavery. I was working as a strategic consultant. It was my first very big contract, and I very quickly understood that I did not belong in a space serving the bottom line. And so now I make them serve me.
So were you involved in BDSM before?
Before I became a dominatrix, I had no idea about kink or BDSM. I had only heard a joke when somebody said that, oh, you're so assertive, you should be a dominatrix. Actually, they called me bossy, but you know. And I Googled it when I didn't want to do what I was doing anymore. And I found a dungeon, and I jumped in the deep end, and here I am, 15 years later. So it worked out.
Wow, what an origin story.
What is the main demographic and occupation of your clients? Well, when my rate was far cheaper, it was absolutely everybody, but now it's rich white men, because that's who has the money, sadly. But it's okay, I'm taking it away from them. For some reason, lawyers love me. I don't know why, but you get all sorts. C-suite, entrepreneurial types, which I don't love. Too much thinking for themselves. Why do people want to be dominated? Ooh, I think that the answers to this are going to be slightly different for each individual. Some people are predisposed to wanting that type of power dynamic. Other people are looking for a release from responsibility and the pressure of every day having to be, I think. Why do you wear so much latex? Is it comfortable? For me, I am very comfortable right now, but it isn't for others. It really depends again. But why do I wear so much latex? I mean, it looks great. No?
Would it be a challenge to do your work out of latex?
Oh, I do my work in whatever outfits these days. When I first started, I had 3 outfits on rotation. A little bit of latex, a little bit of PVC, a little bit of leather. That was when I worked in the dungeon. But now, because I have longer-term clients and people who I've known for years and years, I mean, I'll do it from bed texting them, you know. I don't really need to be wearing anything.
What do you wear to the shops?
What makes you think that I go to the shops for myself?
Do you have someone who goes to the shops for you?
I have people who go to the shops, but if I want to go out on my own, I actually hide a lot these days because, you know, you put me on LADbible, so people see me they know me now. I wear a hat. Do you have a special room or dungeon? At this point in my life, my house is my play space. So you'll see the dining table with a cage underneath it. You see an entryway with a holding cell just to the right. You'll see a sofa and then also a torture chair next to it. So everything's very integrated these days. Do I want to have a special room within that space? I would like it, but London is very expensive.
So when you first started working, you worked in a dungeon. Could you explain what dungeons are?
So a dungeon is a space that sometimes has multiple themed rooms that will have different torture furniture or gear strewn about, or themes to a room. Like maybe one is about dressing up, and so there's a huge wardrobe and you're going to put a lot of makeup on in this very well lit space. And then maybe there's another one that's all like metal and it's all about heavy entrapment. And so it's basically themed spaces that speak to different psychologies, I think. And that can be in many rooms or one. It can be a working dungeon with many doms, like how I started, or it could be a private one. Have you ever nearly burst out laughing during a session? I pretty much laugh in every session. Most of the time, it's kind of a monologue. I'm talking to myself, I'm narrating what's happening, and I find it all very amusing.
Run me through, what is a session? How do they differ? Is it online or is it in person?
So I tend to invest most heavily in offline, in-person sessions. And let's start from the beginning. Somebody will email me a request asking maybe for my time first, and then also disclosing the fetishes that drive them, perhaps the tone of exchange that they tend to prefer. And then if I think that they pay the deposit fast enough, I accept them into my space and I curate a session based around their disclosure. And what that can look like is taking them through the different kinks, be it bondage, be it anal play, be it foot worship, in a fashion that brings them into my psychology and under my spell, so to speak. And that can sometimes be very gentle, but often it can be quite elaborate and campy, and I find that cute and something to giggle at. All right, how much money do you make an hour? $1,000 an hour.
What was your rate before, when you started?
When I first started, I was earning at the lowest about $70 for half an hour of foot worship. Now I don't do it according to kink. Now I just do time.
What was the moment that it stepped up into that echelon?
Ooh, how my rates have transitioned is that I went by the dungeon rates when I first started. And then when I left the dungeon, I went by escort standard rates because I didn't want to have to deal with all the admin of let's negotiate what you want in session. I was just like, my time is my time, and I'm going to figure out who my clients are. And then I started to get absolutely exhausted because I was completely booked up, and then I took it to 1,000. And now I am still probably booked as much as I want to be, and I could probably put it higher, but it just seems a little bit ridiculous, so I just ask for gifts. Is coming to see you cheating? I think that this probably is determined by the agreement that people are having with their partners. I guess in a monogamous environment, is having a flirtation with somebody else considered cheating? Is having a sexual experience considered cheating? Is having penetrative sex considered cheating? Is having like a work wife considered cheating? So I don't know what they are defining it as. Do I consider it cheating if I have things going on in my life? No, because I have people understand what it is that I do, and it's a work context also. And anyway, I'm non-monogamous, and it's much more exciting and interesting for me that way. How much pain are you allowed to inflict? Allowed?
This
is an interesting word. So everything is negotiated, and if I want people to invest in the dynamic between us, I need to take them to the point where it's challenging, but not to the point where they're going to collapse and never be able to come back to see me again. How do you keep yourself safe during your sessions? Well, I mean, they're locked up, so it's not much that other people can do, can they? What is the most common kink or fetish that you are asked to do? So it would be the overarching thing of the power dynamic. People want to come to see me because they want to indulge in a dynamic that is about female dominance, that is about me taking charge. So that would be the primary thing. After that, feet. Feet. What's that? They even like have this like vanilla website. What is it? Feetpics.com, and then they, right?
No comment.
Mine are on there. Most unusual fantasies of my clients. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years now. Unusual is not a word that registers anymore. I would say that it's still amazing to me that some people can have such detailed fantasies, down to the point where they want a certain type of toe ring on this toe, and they want this shade of whatever, lipstick or nail polish, and they want it to be this kind of day and this sort of music. And I think the specificity of things that can really trigger people, I find fascinating. But at the very beginning, I was quite taken aback by age play, and I didn't really indulge in that very much. So things like with a mommy or a daddy sort of dynamic. But I've since settled into the play of it. Do I have female clients? I thought I saw favorite clients. I was gonna say yes. But do I have female clients? Yes, I do have female clients.
How do they differ from male clients?
I would say that individuals are all quite different. I would say that I'm different with female clients, at least initially. I tend to give them more space to take time to express their desires, whereas I might be a little bit more ready to imprint my desires on male clients, just because of patriarchy and how I think things should be.
Do you have any favorite clients?
Yes, I have favorite clients. Do you know who you are?
Do you have a message for them?
Become more favorite. Do you ever think what your clients really need is therapy? I think everybody needs therapy. And I would say that what I do can feel therapeutic, but it's also fun and it's human connection. I think that is very necessary.
It's not a replacement for therapy.
It's not a replacement for therapy, no way. Yeah, therapy is good. Do therapy. Do clients ever cry in sessions? Yes, I love it when they cry. Yes, quite often. So it can often be at the end of a session. It's mostly at the end of a session. So like at the crux of where I've kind of brought our experience to be. And it's often a moment of relief at the fact that they could surrender for a while, and that it's very hard to find that opportunity in their life. Do you feel OnlyFans has had an impact on your profession, good or bad? Well, I think that OnlyFans has been personally good for me because I don't have to session as much, which can be very tiring, and it's kind of almost passive income in some ways. But on a whole, I think it's been interesting because it does put earning capacity into an individual quite well, which was harder to do before this sort of medium. That said, it's still owned by a man, isn't it? So let's figure out that. Do you get more requests for physical pain or psychological humiliation? I definitely get more requests for the psychological dynamic, but I don't know if they think of it as humiliation. I think that they think of it as feeling in a certain place. Physical pain is actually something that people don't necessarily ask for often. It's something that's associated with the job quite a lot, but not many people can handle it. Ooh, have you ever paid to be dominated yourself? Yes, I called it market research, but it's just because I'm greedy. So I did this very early on in my career, and I did kind of see it as me seeing what was out there. I was in Berlin and I wanted to see what they got up to in Germany because they do have wonderful gear and a great culture there. But how was it? I don't love to submit in my personal life. It's not something I gravitate towards. But this person, she was very, very skilled. And I was screaming and I didn't know why. Out of body experience. Ooh, have you ever had famous clients? NDA Central.
Not a no.
What is FinDom? FinDom stands for financial domination. And when I first started, it was unheard of, pretty much. But I would say about 10 years ago, it was something that started popping up on then Twitter. And it was a lot about using humiliating words and extracting money out of clients, out of submissives. And these days, it's still about extracting money out of clients, but it also has become more developed in my mind and my understanding. And it's, I think, about how much we all invest our worth and our security in money, and it being the largest conduit to be able to take that away from someone, to be able to make them immediately feel like they need to surrender. So I think it's a very powerful tool. That can also go quite wrong because it does have very quick consequences. And often the kinds of clients who I see associated with this have almost like that gambling sort of rhythm to them. It's very fast-paced, fast regrets. And so I don't necessarily play in it that much. What do you do if you see a client in the outside world? I pretend I don't see them, and then I let them decide what they need to do with the situation. And I'm happy to be friendly, but often people might compartmentalize me in their life, and I don't want to break that divide for them if they need to maintain that.
Has it happened?
Oh, of course, yes, it happens a lot. Yeah. How many of your clients are married? So I don't see too many people these days. So I would say only 10% right now. Yeah. Although this probably was much higher when I was seeing a lot more people. I think now I demand a certain level of focus, and when you have a lot of other responsibilities, that's hard to accommodate.
How many clients do you have at the moment?
I have a library that I can call on pretty much anywhere in the world. Wherever I am, there's probably a few people that I would like to see, but that I bother keeping in touch with on a semi-daily basis, maybe up to 20. Do you ever feel bad for inflicting pain on a client? No. It's negotiated. How many clients have mommy issues? I'm not a shrink. I'm a dominatrix.
Is there any inkling that the desire to be dominated by a woman comes from some kind of childhood necessity?
I somewhat am starting to believe that the desire to be dominated by a woman, if you are a man, is a necessary desire in the current framework that is patriarchy, because the frustrations of the way that society is set up, I think that if you take a moment to allow yourself, this would be the only antidote. Oh, has a client ever fallen in love with you? I mean, yeah. Of course.
How does that make you feel?
I'm so used to it. It's an honor, but I get it. Because, like, I'm lovable, but also you're in such intimate spaces with people and they surrender emotions to you that they don't feel comfortable surrendering outside of that space often. And so they put a lot of investment in you and care and love, and you just have to handle that with respect and care also. Is it a career with a limited time span like modeling? I think that you get better with age and experience because this job is very much about the psychology. And the more people that you learn how to read, the better you get at making them do what you want.
Do you ever see yourself retiring?
I wonder what retirement will look like, but to be honest, I think I would really miss the creative opportunities that session space provides. It's just not very kind to go to that level of sadomasochism out in the day-to-day. Out of these, who do you think is a secret submissive? Trump, Farage, or Starmer? I mean, is it secret? I get a good tone from most British men, to be fair. But, I mean, have you seen Melania? How can people apply aspects of your job in their everyday? Being more confident in corporate spaces, for example. I think maybe a simple thing is a pause. Yeah. I think that rather than thinking that you need to immediately fill a space with an answer, a nice awkward pause where they have to think about what they just asked is very useful. Gives you time to. Do your family and friends know what you do? Yes. I am happy to say that 7 years into the job, I finally got it together to tell my family. My friends already knew. I didn't think they would be as understanding, but they really are, and they tell me they're proud of me all the time.
Why are you a virgin? Well, probably because I haven't slept with anybody yet. I hear a lot of people say things such as, oh, it's only sex, just go and do it, sex is not important. But to me, somehow it's always been important and a very private thing between two people and something that I've always wanted to be special.